Here, I'm gonna take this off here because this is weird. There we go.
Okay, I'm taking mine off too.
So whatever you take this one.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
That's more like it.
Wait a second.
Check, check.
Yes.
Checkity, check, check. Oh, Toby, are you adjusting?
Toby's our roadie.
What's happening?
Just get out of the way.
Why don't you do that with yours?
I'll do it.
See the way I do that? Darian, get rid of that
I
thing.
forgot this was a union house.
We can't wait around forever. We clearly don't need to put this very close to our faces.
Oh, it's very sensitive.
We don't want to hurt you.
Hey, meatball heads, what are you doing here? I thought for sure you'd be over there with your friends, especially since you're acting like total fools.
Darian, don't make fun of them. She's
Serena, you're such a meatball head. Why are you being such a meatball head?
Stop this stuff. You guys, I just wanted to say, you kind of remind me of my old boyfriend.
What else is new?
And I'd like to know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Someone's got to explain this to me. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, thank you so much for coming, you guys. So my name's Katie Griffin, and I played Sailor Mars.
Hello, everybody. My name is Susan Roman, and I play Sailor Jupiter.
Hey guys, I'm Toby Proctor, and I play Tuxedo Mask.
And I'm Linda Ballantyne, and I played Sailor Moon. Wow, you guys waited till 7 o'clock for this?
I feel very special right now.
Yeah, you did. Okay, how many people who drove 1 hour to get here? How many people drove 2 hours?
What?
3 hours?
What is
4
that? Why are you
hours.
putting your... No,
Do I hear 5 hours? 5 hours. 5 hours right here. Do I hear 6 hours? 6 hours? We've got 6 hours right here and here. Do I hear 7 hours? Do I have 7 hours? 7 hours. 7 hours going once. 8 hours going once, going twice. You just got a free poster signed by all of us. Oh, don't you wish you had driven now? You are here tomorrow, right? Good. You come by and see us and we'll give you a poster. Guys, we're going to give away a poster, okay?
We're giving away a poster, and we're also here to answer any question that you would like to ask us that's been burning away inside your heads for 20 years or longer, even pre-birth. It's okay. Just let us know what question you would like to ask, and we're going to answer to the best of our ability. Right, guys?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I'm gonna lie.
Toby has a little problem with yes. Okay.
Typical. So, what were you gonna say?
Okay, so fortune favors the bold. If you do not put up your hand now, you're going to walk away going, you're going to be driving for 7 hours going, what was I thinking?
See, Gabby. I feel like Gabby put her hand up first. Gabby?
Wow, she knows.
Are you going to cry because you're not getting up if you're crying? Just saying, she's a crier. She made us all cry today.
But what a crier, right?
It's a good cry, but I'm just saying, I don't want to cry now.
Guys, earlier when I got your signatures, I let you know that you guys were like a major influence when I was growing up. And during the rough times, you kind of helped me mold myself into the person I became today. Like positivity, friendship, what you guys embodied in your characters. What I would like to know is, who were your role models as when you were little? Who helped mold you guys?
Wow.
You're so deep.
It's going to be really emotional, but thank you very much. But I'm going to say, you know, I could say any number of people, but I'm going to say my mom. Oh my God, now I'm going to get all emotional. I'm just going to say my mom.
Who's crying now, Katie?
Shut up, Darian. No, my mom was a very strong and independent woman, and I believe Ray is that person and as well. And that's it, my mom. That's all I'm going to say because it's going to get
That's really sweet. I know that she's smiling right now. She's sitting in the rain in Toronto because it's probably raining and freezing there. I was going to say definitely my role model was the Lone Ranger. I'm just kidding. Come on.
I love that you said that.
The Lone Ranger. That's really a good question. Because, you know, I was talking with somebody today about when Sailor Moon came along, girls, we can call them girls because they're young, so young females were portrayed suddenly very, very differently than they had before. And I was thinking afterwards, with the cartoons that I grew up with, the animation that I grew up with, there weren't really a lot of strong, in fact, I can't even think of one, maybe Supergirl, but there were no strong female role models. So in that world, it would be hard to find a role model. And I think that I'm going to have to think about it some more, because it's a really interesting question, and I'm just going to pass it on to Linda.
That's a hard question. Why don't you just take a dagger to my heart? I'm gonna go with my older brother. Yeah.
Come on now.
What are you gonna say now, Toby?
I know, right?
Loser. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and I'm picking my older brother this time, and probably if somebody asked me like, 3 weeks from now, I'll probably go, oh, the Fonz.
I'm totally telling her younger brother.
Yeah, I know. Do. He deserves that little jerk. No, just kidding. No, my older brother he was about 3 years older than me, and he went into the arts as well. And my family is like divided right down the center. There's 4 kids. So, 2 of them were business-minded. Business mind. Arts, you ask them to draw a picture, they're drawing a stick figure. Then the other 2 are arts, my older brother and me. And my older brother, because he was paving the way, decided he was going to go into film. And we were all like, oh, Rob's going into film. Oh, what does that mean? And my mom and dad let him. And we were like, what are you, nuts? He's never going to work. Come on, let's get real about this. And he did work. And he continued to churn away. And he didn't, he started off doing little crappy things. I remember he even worked like reproducing VHS tapes, but we were like, he's in the film world. He's reproducing. He was literally taking a video and putting it into a machine and copying. That's what he was doing. Now he is an art director and a conception artist. He worked on Suicide Squad and Da Vinci Code and all kinds of huge films. Like, he's pretty big. But the reason that he's kind of my role model is because whenever I wanted to quit acting, when I'd go, that's it, I'm done, I hate this, I'm no good, I suck, he'd go, no, you're wrong. Don't do that. You know what you're doing, just do it. And suck it up, Sally, and just do it. It's not always easy, but you can do it. And he just helped guide my way. So thank you, my brother Rob. If anybody's recording this, don't let him see this, because he'll go right to his fat head.
I'm recording it.
Ah, so brutal, because it was gonna be my brother, and then you started talking like, maybe it isn't my brother. He's a good guy. He's really smart. But you know what? I have to bring it was my mom, for sure. My mom was a wonderful lady, and she was in the arts as well. She was a director for many years, and an actress, and a ballet dancer and ballerina and all this kind of crazy stuff. But I look at my life now, because I'm obviously, I still work in acting and blah, 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 but I'm directing and producing these days, and my mom was a big director for about 45 years of her time. And one of the things I remember is, those hot summer cool days when you're playing outside and having so much fun, and I go inside, my mom's doing something, and to me it looked boring, but to her it was like she was doing this incredible amount of work, and she looked like she was having like the best time of her life, just by herself, designing. And I thought, you know what, she's happy. And I've always wanted to be in that place where whatever I'm doing, whatever it is, whether it be voice acting or producing or directing, I want to be happy, even if I'm locked in a room by myself. And I imagine that's what a good writer does. I'm not a writer, but for me, she taught me that hard work does pay off, because I remember those days where I would be swimming and doing what else, and she'd just be doing something very, very finite, and it would somehow, at a certain point, end up in a place like this. And that she taught me to just go forward and never forget. And I love her.
To be clear, Toby's mother, you guys always say, but you don't understand, you're my childhood. Toby's mother was my childhood, because she was a very famous actress in Canada. Very, very famous. Now see, I'm getting all misty now.
Oh my.
I know, it's easy to make her cry. All I have to do is go like this. But Toby's mother passed away about 2 years ago. And it was a really great loss, obviously, for Toby's family, but also for Canada, because she was huge. And Toby kind of comes from royalty when it comes, see, it's gonna start again. When it comes to theater, yeah, he's pretty cool. Nope, they're gonna get him going.
You guys thought this was going to be fun.
Rats in a barrel is.
And it's really fascinating to watch because it's wonderful to see talent passed on from one generation to the next. It's really incredible to see someone inherit something so special, and he has inherited it big time, and you can see it in every movement that he makes. So to me, for personal reasons, I happen to really admire seeing the inheritance gene in action, and he absolutely exemplifies that. Now we have to talk about something that's a little funny.
Okay, that's it. Goodbye. That's crazy. I love you guys.
Sorry, I'm crying.
All right, I like that. We got you going too. That was easy. All right.
We want to make everyone cry, by the way, okay?
You guys are like my world. Like,
Oh my God.
I was 16 years old and I started watching Sailor Moon when I was 8 at the top. And you guys have saved me from so much.
Oh my God, this is going to be the tearing one. This is what we always say too. Not always say, but what you don't understand is, you know, we might have been there when you were little and you were first started, but you were there for us. Because we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you guys. That's all there is to it. So do you have a question, or are you just going to cry for us? Because I want a vial of those tears.
I was the only one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Gabby. Now you're in a game.
Yeah, great.
We're all crying now.
You guys saved me from abuse and so much different things. Because all I had to do was go in my room and watch Sailor Moon. And I always wondered what made them be so great, and how could they be so amazing to watch all day, every day. Even today, I rewatched Sailor Moon before I even came here.
Oh, wow.
And I only like the original.
We love you.
You are such a sweetheart. I can see, you know, you have an aura of goodness that's just surrounding your head like a big old halo. I hope you know that. Okay? Remember that. So when you say stuff to us that's so complimentary about the fact that we had a positive effect on a life that sometimes got a little rough, right? That's the miracle of acting. Because what you're hearing from us is part of our heart and soul. And you can't fake that. Even though you're saying other people's lines, your energy is coming through. And you're hearing it and you're responding to it because there's something very real about it. And that's the magic and the beauty of it. And for us to find out so many years later that you positively responded to all of our energies, and sometimes our energy would manifest itself. We would be angry, or we would be happy, or we would be, this thing is rigged! You know, you're allowed to get angry, you're allowed to get pissed off at your friends. All that energy comes through, but the nugget of it is the same. And there's something good and something that you respond to. So you have just given us the biggest compliment ever. So thank you. You're a doll.
And also you get a free poster.
Jeez, what's going to happen here? Well, you had a question.
So you guys all have like these, fairly illustrious careers. What's it like having this one part that, I'm 30 and she's 16. Like, there's 15 years of like fandom there. Like, what's it like having this one part?
Yeah, it's okay.
That ever feel like, do you ever, like, obviously you love it, but do you ever feel like, wow, I did other stuff too, guys, come on.
Do you know, the funny thing is we are working actors. We work on kind of big stuff that we do and we've done since, because that was over 20 years ago. But we thank our lucky stars every single time we travel. We're really good friends and we have a really good time. And the thing is, this will never happen again for us. It wouldn't matter how big the project is, because Sailor Moon had that kind of an impact. This is a once-in-a-lifetime show that literally impacted our lives, your lives. We've been all over the world. It's impacted so many people for so many different reasons and emotional reasons. And we look at this and we say, what is this? What is the secret of it? It will never happen again. And it wouldn't matter how amazing it is. And we've done some great projects. So we have no idea why it hit the way it did for everybody, but because of all these emotional stories, like now we've all been crying for the first 20 minutes of this. But it's true, it has this impact, and we don't know
My
why.
eye was just itchy, just to let you know.
Yeah, we were going to say there might be something in your eye, Toby.
Yeah.
But so we have no idea why, but we thank our lucky stars that this is the show. And it'll never, and people will come up to us and say, okay, what's your favorite show? And we've done a lot of shows. There's been 20 years of shows because that was our, well, actually Susan was actually a super famous, you are a famous actress too, you were like John Cameron. But anyway, the thing is, we've all done these shows. Go.
Microphone in front of your face.
In front of my face. I feel like I didn't even, was it? Did anybody hear what I said the whole time? Thank you. At the back, they're nodding.
I'm Katie.
I will just say what I want. And that's the end of that. But anyway, yeah, it is a we understand how lightning has struck this.
Also, say that Jupiter's job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I did there.
She's slow sometimes. Yes.
What was your favorite parts while doing the voice acting for it?
Well, of course, I love being drunk. On juice. I love being drunk. On juice. 16-year-old juice. Anyone?
Yeah.
I loved kind of the...
Me?
Yes, you. I did like saying, Serena. No. I kind of liked the fighting. Because it was legal.
You showed up late.
Because I was cultivating roses. Do you know how much time that
And
takes?
dressing fancy.
Yeah, try to put on a cummerbund in 4 seconds. You can't do it. No, he never saw his cummerbund, but I assume he had a really fancy one. Probably leopard print. Oh no.
Favorites? Girls? The fighting stuff was fun. It was fun because Ray and Serena, they fought a lot. And I always looked at it, the funny thing is when we first started this, Susan and I went to one in Vancouver, Canada, and it was ugly for Ray. It wasn't a lot of Sailor Mars love, and I just thought, no wonder. Sailor Mars! And I walked in, and then a lot of people, you were just really mean all the time. And I remember looking, I was like, no, I wasn't. We were just sisters fighting. That's what we did. It was like shell-shocked a little bit, but everybody's like, yeah, we don't like you. Jupiter.
What's funny is he's talking fighting, she's talking fighting. Yeah, fighting. Whatever.
That's what Toby did.
Because that's how you fight. Obviously trained. Dangerous.
What was the question again? My favorite part. My favorite part, well, of course, yeah, tons of favorite parts, because it was such a great part, because she was always going here, there, everywhere, and blah, blah, blah. You know what actually I liked the best? And somebody did a compilation online, and I watched it the other day, and it actually contains the very first scene where she's, or maybe not the first scene, but it's the first time we see her, she's down like this, and she's calling on the thunder and lightning, and I just remember doing it that day, and saying, wow, I feel so powerful. Anybody, if you're feeling a little low one day, just do one of our battle cries as you start. It's amazing. It's amazing. Or, yeah.
Hey, actually, that's a great idea. We should do our battle cries.
Mars, fire, ignite!
Okay, I'm going to change it up because I just remembered another one. Am I ready? Yes, okay, 3. Jupiter! Thunderclap! Zap! Moon Cosmic Power!
I didn't really have one. Right. Believe in yourself, Sailor Moon. But you didn't do anything.
Also, Toby, he doesn't like to admit it, but he does a mean Mars. Can we hear it?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been feeling so well lately, but I'll try.
Mars, fire, ignite!
Julia, that's ridiculous. I can't believe you're doing that.
I think he sounds really good.
Serena,
I don't know what you're talking about.
stand up on me, Serena. I can't believe that you
Girls,
still do it.
you're both beautiful.
Where's Chad? What happened with Chad?
I really want to know, like, you guys obviously have a very close bond. You've, like, hung out together, related.
You're okay.
But you're all from Canada, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Canadian, eh?
That's cool.
Get out.
Sorry about that.
But when they transitioned and they, like, went through the arc of the storyline, like, when they had, like, Sailor Stars and everything, were you continuing to interact with the other characters? Like, how close were you with the other characters? And...
I mean, as we were recording?
Well, yeah, no, like, as the storyline progressed. Like the
So
voice,
did we get to know all the actors?
all
and
the
stuff
other
like this?
ones, like the outside characters, I guess, like the...
Well, like as actors, as human beings, you
Yeah,
mean?
yes,
Not
yes.
just as characters.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because you go into an audition and these guys are sitting there. It's like, oh Christ, Katie Griffin's here. Great. Yeah. Oh, good. Susan showed up. Oh, great. This is fantastic. So everybody's there. So you see everybody when you go to audition. So that's kind of more how we all hang out. I feel is there some kind of reverb coming?
Feedback and stuff.
I'll put it further away from me there. Yeah, so we all know each other very well from going to auditions because we've sat in a lot of rooms together. And actually, I make it sound like you go, oh, good, Katie's here. But we're not like that. It's like, it's good to see you. Everybody has a good time. And we go, oh, we got to go in. And somebody's going to get a fire.
about it,
Hey.
make it fun, yeah.
Yeah, so that's sort of how we all got to know each other, really. Because when we recorded the show, we rarely ever went into the rooms together, ever.
Yeah.
We would just go in on our own and only say our lines, which is something that's hard to get used to, right? Because you're literally, you're asking someone a question, and they're answering like 3 days later, and then you're responding to them not even answering, quite frankly. And it's, you kind of got to know your character really well to be able to do that kind of stuff.
You know what? Actually, that's really interesting for a second because you were the lead of the show and you got all these lines and they would lay down your tracks a lot of the time first. And all the time, for me anyways, because I had very little lines. Tons of roses. But it was funny because I never really suffered that fate where I had, there was always a reference to, I would answer the questions.
Oh, so you would hear Sailor Moon?
Yes, always.
Cheating.
No, yeah, totally cheating. Because no, there have been other series where I would be the one saying, "So, what do you think?" And you never hear the other person. It's like this empty void. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even like. Where am I? It's a very strange. But all it is it's really just make believe. Really, like, so how are you doing? And you just imagine the person saying, "I'm fine," and then blah blah blah. But for me, I was lucky enough that they would just shoot me the reference. They would say, oh, this is what Sailor Moon did. So like, oh, Darian, how are you? I'm like, oh, I'm okay, meatball head. So I knew exactly where to be.
Because there's that linguistic
Part
of
but
it. Like,
for, apparently for you, and that has happened on other roles where there's a void where it's like, I guess I'm okay, and like how do I answer that? Like, because you could say a line very differently, like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. So but you obviously dealt with it differently.
And we didn't get the scripts ahead of time. We had no idea.
No, none of us knew what the series was about. We literally just showed up and we would say the lines. And we had no idea.
What is happening over there? Stop that.
This is bad. Whenever you do a panel at 7 o'clock at night, you're asking for trouble.
Lost in the sauce.
Okay, we go in the very back. We'll get to you. Yes, yes, purple shirt. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, the new one.
There's a remake? Yeah, like an actual attack. That's great. Not just foliage. Yeah.
Well, so I kind of say the remake. First of all, the original's the original. Hello. However, the great thing about the new one is it gives the fans something else, something to talk about. So some people get on going, oh my God, I hate the new one. And some people go, wait a minute, I love it. I love the new artwork. It's something different and blah, 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 like with Crystal and stuff. So I kind of like the fact that it started up the conversation again, like big time started up the conversation.
The fans have waited a really, really long time for answers.
So I feel like it's a good thing. I mean, Sailor Moon literally has the best fans in the world. So I feel like, no, it's true. I really think that. So if they care,
It's a fact. It's a fact. Not just because I say it, but just in general.
but I think that it's not a bad thing at all. I haven't seen it personally. I don't think we get it in Canada because we don't have, what's the name of it? Hulu. We don't get Hulu.
Crunchyroll has it.
Okay, but now Crunchyroll. Okay, so we could see it, but I'm watching baseball right now. It's all baseball, September baseball.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's my outdoor.
we actually don't get Crunchyroll, Hulu, escalators, pogo sticks, Kinder eggs. No, we get Kinder eggs. You guys don't get Kinder eggs. Oh, they're so fabulous.
There's little toys involved.
And you get poutine.
Wait,
What?
you forget about World Market.
What's
You
that?
forget about World Market.
World Market?
Yeah, we got them. Oh, you just got to look for them.
I clearly have nothing now. Thank
They have Star Wars Kinder eggs right now. Just saying. Just saying.
See you later.
Yeah.
I know, okay, for the record, I have been a fan for my whole 25 years of my life.
Thanks, meatballhead.
But mainly, I've seen and I've Googled y'all, I've looked into the things that y'all do. I know that you came in later, and then I know that you left early, and my main questions are kind of focusing on y'all, because I know y'all stuck around for a long time. But like, what, did you wish you could stay longer for you? And then when you decided...
No, honestly, it was a scheduling conflict with work. I basically was very lucky to do Tuxedo Mask for the first 2 seasons. I started in episode 11 to 65, and then I got a call from Warner Brothers that they had cast me in Police Academy, the series. I was to play Tackleberry in the Warner Brothers Police Academy, the series on Warner Brothers. They did 26 1-hours filmed in Vancouver. And this was just before they went on to record the 3rd season in Vancouver, but we were working in Toronto, and because it's dubbing, there was no way to do a thing called an ISDN patch or anything where I could do it from remote, so it means I would have to be in Toronto to do it, but I was working for Warner Brothers at the time, because there was about 280 days of on-set work in 1 year in Vancouver that I was asked to do, and they could not make my schedule mix. And they just wouldn't do it. And I was heartbroken because Tuxedo Mask had already taken flight and it was so much fun. And I'd already seen kids with my backpack and all that stuff, and I was just like, no. But then, thank you. I hope I was okay as a good guy. Geez, I hope I brought you roses. Best I could do. That's literally all I had. But it was a very tough time because it was definitely a push-pull. When you're a young performer and you're dangled carrots, it's like you already have a series, but then this giant series comes around and says, hey, you get to shoot guns and be in Police Academy and I had to go. But the funny thing was, and this is like inside stuff. Before, now my brother had been an actor for many years, and my brother and I, my mom and dad could never tell us apart by, like on the phone, we'd always like goof on the phone, like, hi, how you doing? Like, hey Toby, like, it's my brother Kelly, yay, I tricked you, right? So I actually offered, I silver serviced my brother, and I said, listen, my brother can do my voice completely. The fans would never even know that there was a switch, and they just didn't take it. And I was like, actor as well. In fact, he was like the actor of the family. He was awesome. But they just didn't take it. And I thought that was so weird because he could totally do because he always jokes, because after all these conventions when I walk around saying, hey meatballhead, so he'll call me saying, hey meatballhead. And like, oh man, that's good. That sounds just like me. So, you know, that was the reason why I left. It sucked. But, you know, I appreciate you guys still loved what I did for when I was there. And I love you. That's awesome. Thank you. Well, honestly, I can easily speak for the four of us. Thank you for all this. It's it. Okay.
There's no crying in
Damn it.
baseball.
I love this. This is like one of my favorite panels ever.
This is the best. Yeah.
We've done a lot of panels, by the way.
That's all at breakfast.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I mean, one of the first tips that is available to all of us in this day and age is our cell phones. So what you do is you just pick up your cell phone and you say, oh, it's got a record mode, and I can listen back. And even better if you can listen back with your earbuds in, because then you're going to get a better sound quality. And get yourself used to the sound of your own voice. And not only used to the sound of your own voice, but absolutely loving the sound of your own voice. If you wince when you hear your voice, then maybe voice work isn't for you, right? I don't mean to be funny, but a lot of people say, oh, I'd like to do voice work, but I hate my voice. That's not going to work. It's not that you have to be in love and be conceited. You have to be comfortable with the sound that you're hearing, because when you're comfortable with it, then you can work with it and you can take it places. Right? So that's number one. Just start reading little segments from even just some of the manga. Just read some of the speeches into your cell phone, the same one, over and over again, so you can hear the improvement. And say to yourself, finally, I like this. And then you can let other people hear. Say, what do you think about this? And then you've got some sort of an idea. Am I sounding as sibilant as I'm feeling?
Not so much sibilant, but the S's are there. There's that.
Does everybody know what sibilance?
Voice actors up here. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I hear it.
So sibilance is when there. Okay, so I can
There's no
still
pop
hear.
filters. What are you gonna do? Not
Yeah.
the pop filter.
No, it's-
yeah. It's
That snaky sound. Anyway, does anybody else have some good ideas? Some good ideas.
Susan, I think you sound amazing.
Well, there's a site that you can go to called voicebank.net. And what you're going to do is listen to all the demos. Because there's a bunch of demos that you're going to have to sort out for yourself, and you can listen to it and hear, like, okay, I should put that together before you... Oh, a demo? Like a voiceover demo is basically, 30 seconds to a minute of different commercials and cartoons, and sometimes they separate. So there's an animation demo or there's a commercial demo, but you can hear what voice actors are doing that they would shop around to agents to say, this is what I have, because that's how that's the beginning. And you know what? Take classes. Anytime you see a voiceover class, take it. See how you feel about it, because maybe you'll hate it. Or maybe you'll love it. Maybe this is what you want to do. And the bottom line is really, and this is not to be, to deter you at all, we're actors. So it's not that, because I have a lot of people come up to me, and I'm sure it's the same for everybody, where people will say, I have a great voice. People say I have a great voice, I should do this. There is nothing unique about my voice. And I can tell you, it's really nasally and not a great voice. I can hear it on my answering machine at home when people call. Well, you're saying that because you know me as certain things. I'm just saying in general, but we're actors. So we're not relying, now there are certain people we know where their voice is this crazy, unique voice that I've never heard used. Well, your voice is, you're a very good actor anyway, but you've got that rasp too, so you've got like little triple.
Got it all. We're gonna have to kill her.
But I'm saying that it's usually that you're competing against actors. So I always say, and this is really not to deter if you want to do it, it's kind of tougher to break into than the music industry, just to put it in perspective. Because all the actors that are on a roster, like on-camera actors, are also voice actors now. It's just the way it kind of goes. So you have to be hardcore and say, nah, I want it. And that's how it's got to be, like an Olympic sport.
Yeah, you have to definitely know how to act, that's for sure.
Another question?
So what I really wanted to know is, like, as actors, did y'all ever grow, like, a really strong attachment to your characters? Like, you really love Sailor Moon, you love Jupiter, like, so much that, like, you feel like you are a part of them and they're a part of you?
Yes, precious.
I would say most of the characters that I do, I fall in love with. Especially if you're in a series and you're doing it week after week and you're going in there and you slowly build a character and you slowly fall in love with the character. And you do it and you go in there every week and you find more and more little funny things. And then they'll, you know, especially if it's original animation, then they'll start drawing the character looking kind of in a weird way like you, and you pick up all these little nuances and you're like, yeah, this baby's mine. And then all of a sudden one day they stop calling you and you're like, hey, when's the next one coming up? And they're like, no, it's done. Yeah, and it's like they pull the rug right out from under you. Just, whoo, and you're going, but. And so all of a sudden that character's kind of done. And it's so soul-destroying when that happens, and it happens every single stinking time with your characters. But something like this brings it all back. So for Sailor Moon, it was just like, okay, and it's back! Yes, we get to talk about this, we get to relive these characters, it's awesome. That's the good stuff about it. But yeah, definitely you fall in love with those characters for sure, because it's you, right?
Well, it's funny too, because when we were cast, we are very close to our characters, a lot of us. Susan and I for sure. I guess you are too, you're kind of clumsy, yeah. But in general, I was 20 when I did this, and I had long black, almost black hair, and I really was Ray. I was training martial arts, and I thought, this has happened for a reason. I am Ray. And so as soon as it ended, it really was that moment of, this is never going to happen again. But it has happened again. And there are different, and you sort of morph into different characters of whatever you do.
You know, the funny thing is, when I think about it, when you fall in love with a character, being an actor, I can go on, I know I've been on thousands of auditions, so I don't even know, it could be north of 10 at this point, after 34 years. But the thing is, when I realized why I fell in love with every role I've done is because when you're an actor, you're your own boss, and when you get hired, that means you did it. Like, there's definitely good auditions you do, and you did your best, but you just weren't that guy, and that's fine. If you think of how many gateways had to open up for you to actually be that guy. The writer had to write it, writer got an agent, then was produced, then the director was hired, then the production company, then there was a casting person, then you auditioned, then you got it. That's a lot of this and that, right? So for everything, any yes that I get, I do realize, because I've also worked on the back end of filmmaking as well, how many gateways had to open up in absolute serendipity for me to get to that point means that it was the right spot. And so for that, I loved it because I had to believe in all of those people had to do the same thing for that through line to happen. So for me, it's a wonderful thing that every role that I've been given, I look back and go, huh, isn't that crazy? I remember there's been a few roles that I almost was maybe too sick and I wasn't gonna audition for it. And I thought, you know what, just go to the audition. You're feeling horrible, but just go. And I went to that audition, and guess what? I got it. And some of them were massive. And wouldn't I just be kicking myself in an internal boot if I didn't do it? Right? So sometimes you just gotta do it, but that's why I love everyone.
That was an amazing answer.
Oh, I'm over here. I'm missing all the ones on that side.
Hi, good evening, y'all.
Y'all?
Yes, I have two-part questions. So the first one is, I love the original podcast, y'all guys. I mean, I'm not super serious, but like, y'all definitely made a huge impact on me in the sense of like, being a kick-ass, like, girl growing up. And I just wanted to know if like, the original voice cast, like, would ever make the TV series again, or like how that works. I know I've seen like some interviews and it's like stuck in some weird like limbo companies or something. I don't know.
We would do it in a heartbeat. It's all logistics. It's always political, it's always business, that's it. So the way it went down is that the new, I mean, I don't even know if they entertained the idea of keeping, or having the original cast, but it wouldn't have mattered because we're in Canada. And so Crystal Well, both of them, the redub, they're all done in Los Angeles, and we're Canadian. So it's, I mean, just beyond all of that, even if they were passionate enough to say, you should try, let's reach out, it doesn't matter, because we're in Canada, we're in a different union, it's a whole different ballgame.
But I mean, in the sense of like the old style drawing, like the original Sailor Moon anime series, like how do we like get it to where it's like the original voice cast? 'Cause I know there are only a few animes where I'll listen to them in English because like I can't do like the way that they match up. But I mean, the Sailor Moon cast in the original like 90s version anime like was literally every character was just perfectly fit.
In our fantasy world, they will call us up and say, we're going to do stars, and we're going to pick you.
And we would do
well,
it.
I don't know, Kay. I mean,
I'd say, yes please, because I finally get an attack.
And then just the second part was, I don't know if y'all heard about like Ghost in Shell, like how it's now in the live action anime. How would y'all feel if like someone were to make like a live action Sailor Moon? Would y'all be like?
I'm surprised they haven't done it.
they'll do it.
There's a series of theater shows.
They have in Japan, but it's not the same.
Who would they cast as Sailor Moon?
They could make it really, really good. With all the superhero stuff going on, I'm really shocked that somebody hasn't.
Yeah, but seriously, what actors would you pick? Seriously.
Well, I mean, honestly, like the way I was thinking it, I mean, I know it's like was really shown to like a huge American crowd, but I think like using Japanese, Canadian actresses and actors for those roles, I mean, to like push over because I mean,
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Ghost in Shell, I mean, they did get Scarlett Johansson, but I mean, there was like this huge backlash for it, and I mean, mind you, I think sort of why they did it because of the way that the anime characters
Oh, yeah.
are drawn, but at the same time, it's like you still have to like stick to the like, culture of where it's actually kind of.
I bet they do it. I bet they do it eventually.
They're gonna do it, but they're not gonna. Yeah, I don't
But I
know.
want you guys to be like the
I just hope I get one seat and a big thing of popcorn. That's it. I'll
They
watch
raise
it.
Ray.
Give me free tickets.
Yeah.
Not like free tickets.
another one.
When y'all were doing things in the booth, did any of y'all play pranks on one another? With us, or just
Well, there weren't intentional pranks, right, Linda? Hot dogs?
It wasn't a prank, it was serious. Hot dogs.
I don't know if that's what she ate. Go for it, Linda.
I hate Katie Griffin.
She
To
loves
be
me
clear,
so
I hate
much.
Katie
She
Griffin.
loves me.
Hate. Hate is the word I'm using.
She loves me. She calls me every morning. She loves me.
So,
Hot dogs. That's why Toby's laughing, because every once in a while I pull one out. And Toby looks over and I know you're thinking.
okay,
hot
so
dogs.
here's what they're talking about. All right, I'm human. All right? I'm human. Grasp that. So, when you're voice acting, you go in there and you have got to use every. Shut up, Toby. I hate you. You have to use every part of your body. So you know, when I'm in there, I'm like, moon, cosmic, you know, like I'm putting it all out there. The veins are popping out of me. I'm pushing everything. I'm like, ah! Every now and then, something slips out. Not out of this end. Out of this end. I'm human, people. So, I would get up there and I go, moon, cosmic, hour. And then I go, can I do that one again, please? And they maybe didn't hear it and they'd say, no, that was fine. I'm like, no, I think we should, let's not listen back. We can listen back, let's just do it for my sake. Can we just do this one for me? And then Katie would come in afterwards and go,
Hot dogs.
and I go, maybe.
No, it wasn't like that. I'd walk in going, oh my, what did you eat? What? Stop that.
It's a little known fact that Sailor Moon eats hot dogs before every record.
Sometimes pepperoni.
Sometimes pumpkin. This is bad. This is not
Another
good.
question. Hi, in the red?
What is the funniest line and or lines you've ever said
actually one time got to go in with Renee, with Stephanie Beard, Sugar Lynn. And it was the episode where we switched and she became older and I became younger. And all of a sudden she's like, get a load of these. We were hysterical, absolutely hysterical. And I'm like, come on, no, you gotta get more into it. You gotta get more into it. And she's like, get a load of that. Come on, you gotta get into it. Come on. It was ridiculous. It was very ridiculous. That girl's voice is ridiculous. It's like that in real life. She's crazy. Hi. Who does that? No, we're good?
Sarah's giving us the nod, so guys, it's already...
Yeah, so let's get some more questions in before our last go.
This is like our last
Our
one.
last two. How about last two? How about the last one?
We're here tomorrow.
We're here
so
tomorrow.
here's the thing.
So who's the last question? Who's going to be? No, you've already had one. Okay.
Okay, have y'all ever gotten recognition outside of like the recording booth, like by your voices? Like, has anyone ever heard you?
Recognized our voices?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You mean like when? How? How come? You know what? Sometimes it's funny. I think sometimes people come to the table to say hi to us, and they you can see that they're listening to hear if we sound the way we sounded in the show. And so that's why sometimes I try to remind myself that one of the main things you want to hear is you want to hear me talking like her. Like, you know, could you put a lid on it, Serena? You know, that you get into that space. Because when you're voice actors, I'm going to, you know, talk down here. You're not going to recognize me. But if I'm on a subway, a crowded subway or a crowded bus, and I turn to a complete stranger and say, marry you? I don't even know you. What kind of a creep are you? So if somebody recognizes me, then it'll be more likely because I've put on that voice. So what I guess that we're trying to say is we try to go through life using our normal voices and our regular voices. And so if there's a character voice that we can throw into the mix, sometimes we will, just for fun. But usually what you're hearing is just us.
Okay, so about 15 years ago, I'm at a Jethro Tull concert. I know, right? And I'm totally out of my element, and the friend who took me there, he was plying me with beer, and I was having a great time. And then I look behind me, and there's this really scary biker dude behind me, and I thought, like, we have to be really quiet, because this guy looks really scary. But I kept talking, and finally the guy tapped me on my shoulder, like, oh, I'm dead meat, something's up. He goes, hey, I know you. I'm like, okay, we're at a concert, it's very loud, there's tons of stuff going on. I'm like, oh, you do you? He goes, yeah, you're the voice of Tuxedo Mask. I'm like, what? And then immediately I went from, oh my god, I'm gonna be shot, to like, how the hell does he know this? We're at a concert. He goes, I heard you talk, man. I heard my kids, they watch you. I'm like, oh my god, that is so crazy. He goes, I'm gonna buy you a beer. I'm like, okay. I already had a beer, but I didn't want to tell him. So I was like, sure, I'll take a beer from you, guy who's gonna kill me, I thought, I don't know. And it was the craziest experience. I said, and I turned to him and I said, how did you know it was me? He goes, dude, I heard you. I'm like, and that was like one of the craziest moments in my life as an actor / voice actor, because I don't know if I'd pick out voices like that, but some people do, and he scared the you-know-what out of me. He's still there.
Yeah. All right, we're going to call it now. We have to, which is crazy, because this is literally one of the best panels we've ever had. Like, you guys are fun. Fun.
Thank you so much, you guys. But we're here all weekend, so come and ask us more questions at our table. We'll be there tomorrow at noon-ish.
Noon till 6 tomorrow.
Yep.
We'll be there, and you guys, yeah.
Come and ask.
What's
we have
up?
all kinds of questions.
What's up?
Oh, what is that? This is the best.
What?
More sign. We will be signing autographs all tomorrow, and then up until probably about 2 o'clock. Oh, no, not today. I know, we gotta eat. They won't let us eat. They're gonna give us herrings after 2.
I'm gonna turn into a bear.
Linda tomorrow night has a breakdancing competition.
She's really
I'm
good.
gonna eat hot dogs before I go.
No, you're not.
Come join me, Katie.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.